Namaste everyone, this is Shrikant Rangal. My name is Shrikant Rangal and I'm a mechanical engineering graduate. And today I'll be handling the advanced Excel training for you all over here. And it's because this is the first day, most of the task, the greatest challenge for me here will be to understand what is your level of understanding. And once I understand that, accordingly, I will show another 2 days of training. And okay, so right. So accordingly, I'll be adjusting the other 2 days of the training, and I hope that you will cooperate with me today and let me know the perfect requirement that you have here. What kind of what topics are very much important to you, and what topics are not very much important to you, and also what topics you are already aware of, and what topics you want to learn. So I'll just go ahead and follow the path that I have prepared. And meanwhile, we are based on how you are responding. When you are responding to a particular query, to a particular question about the topic, I will understand that you are already aware of it. And if you're not responding about that topic, I might go a little bit more in detail for that particular thing. So let's begin. So here is the day-wise schedule. The plan is to conduct this training for 3 days. The first day will will be taking care of the basics, how to do the navigation, the five different types of files, and how to save them, what are the different uses. We'll take up editing, formatting, printing, and viewing. So all these are the basics, most of the basics, which we'll be handling on the first day. We'll also start a little with the basic formula that will not very needed to do. Okay, I'll just make it a note to edit this later. Okay, so let us just start this training here. Right, fine. And on the second day, we'll take up right. Okay. Right. So this is to be changed. The first day, I'll basically mostly I'll be spending. I'll be going with the thing, the presentation that I've prepared, and my aim will be to get to know what is your level of understanding. In day two, I'll be covering most of the doubts that you might have shown interest in, the topics that you have shown interest in. I'll be going into more depth on those topics. And finally, the grade three will mostly be about taking giving you solutions to the problems that we have already shared. And of course, we'll be covering a lot of doubts on that day. And every day, it's for 3 hours. So this is how I'll be distributing them. The first 15 minutes I can be mostly about introduction and introduction. When we'll be either clearing doubts from the previous class, or and maybe you could introduce me to how what was your experience with the previous class, and what your expectations are from the current class. Next 2 hours, I'll go ahead and present you with a presentation that I have prepared. And during this presentation, you have to respond to me in order to know your level of understanding. And based on that, I might adjust the pace. Okay, and last half an hour basically will be for any doubts and queries that you might have during for that particular day's class. So this last half an hour may even get extended depending on your interest, your level of interest. Let's proceed. So here we are starting with a bit basic of the stuff. We're not taking we're not diving terribly into the depth. So when we really want to use Excel, there are three categories we need to have a basic understanding of. We need to first of all installation and this is you should know what the different devices are and where they'll be used. So first among them are the input devices. These are the devices we use to give input into the computer. So First in this we have the keyboard and we have the mouse. So mouse is pointing device, not worry about it. We have three buttons located in it: left, right, and middle. Middle button is also called a scroll, so you can just scroll it and move up and down. So on the output devices, they will be mostly interacting with a monitor, which exactly shows what you will get in the printout and what data is being entered. And printer is where you get a hard copy of whatever you do in Excel. And speakers, not much. There will not be much space for the in some very rare cases. We'll get sounds to tell you that you are doing some command. Of course, CPU is where all the processing is happening. So primarily is the RAM, where all the information will be stored when a file is open. So till you save the contents of the file, all the data is going to be put into the RAM. RAM is an access memory, and it's a temporary function. It's always very fast. That's why whenever data is required to be processed, that data is first read from the files and gets transferred to the RAM, and this is where all the processing happens. And once all the processing is done, we need to save it back to permanent memory, that is a hard disk and driver system to use it. Processor is, of course, where all the processing is actually going to take place. Let's go to the navigation. So when it comes into the mouse, there are different ways we can use it. We have, of course, the default two clicks, the left, right, and the middle ones, which I'm calling it a scroll click. It's what indicated here, let's go to scroll. And we have a scroll and roll. We can just rotate this scroll. We can also do the control in scroll roll. That's going to result in zooming. It can be big or small. But it is just short to your live. So it is loaded over here. So here we have the Excel interface. Now let's open some work. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have opened here this particular thing. So we have going to press scroll. Let's scroll and see it's moving up and down. It's going down or up. When I do control plus scroll, you can see it's either going zoom in or zoom out. This is what's happening. And so control plus scroll. Okay, and then we have a double click. So when you double click in any results, you will be able to edit the data first. Single click and starting to type will also be the same thing, but double click, in addition to starting the typing, allows you to edit the page. If you just click and start typing, it will erase whatever data is present in scroll and allow you to enter new data. So if you want to remove all the data which is previously present and enter new data, because it was something new, then you can use the click and start typing. But if you want to edit the contents of so you just have a double click. If you want to use the keyboard to do the same thing, you have to press F2. It is for start the edit. Then coming to the keyboard, we have a tab and enter. So whenever you enter something, pressing tab moves the cell to the right side. And if you press enter, it will come back to the first column where you started pressing the tab. So that's how the tab and enter work. And enter actually, if you just press enter, the cell which is not already written low, it will just come down. And if you press tab down and press enter, wherever you started clicking the tab, that's the place where it will data. So we'll click on the very difficult entering the data very fast. So next are the arrow keys, of course. Arrow keys can be used to left, right, then we have the control, shift, and alt. So these are the three buttons for both sides of the keyboard, which has the space bar on the keyboard. And these buttons, along with some other combinations, will be used to get to shortcuts. So shift, of course, is going to be used to get the key. You can also have the caps lock on. The caps lock down is And of course, there are some shortcuts. Like if you press Control C, it will result in copy command, and the cell that is copied will be shown here like this one, and we will paste that somewhere else. You can Control and V pressed at the same time to see that this cell just copied has now got pasted over here. You can also do Control X, that is for cut, and that will result in moving the particular cell some other place when it is pasted as well. Similarly, we have Alt. The Alt command is used to highlight all these shortcuts. And so if you want to access any command, you can do a ribbon up top of the tab with which you go. Then you have to start by pressing the Alt, and then whichever option you want to choose, for that you have to type and that's what you will shortcut that is going to show you a melodic font. So if I go from no, it's go from no, and then the options here will present themselves. So it's like so that's how you will be using the keyboard. And coming to the dragging of the cells. So dragging of the cells is something which we really have to do. When you click any cell, you can see that normally a white plus mark is in the grid. And when you are hovering over the border of the cell itself, this particular the icon changes to show arrows on both sides. So means you can drag this particular cell to see the text. So dragging it like this, dragging when arrows are appearing on the both sides, will move the particular cell in which you have the data instead of the place. Whereas if you're dragging when the cursor is white, you will result in selection of multiple cells. There is a third type of dragging here in Excel. That happens when you hover your cursor over this small button. And when it happens, you can when you drag this, the same data will be copied. Also, the answer to the same data, but depending on what content you have there, you can have other things like if you have some series of numbers, and there is a continuous relation between them. And when you click here, the cursor becomes black, and then when we drag it, the same formula will apply. So if you just augment this as well, this way, you just try to type 2 first numbers, and then drag it down, and we'll get our odd numbers. Whatever is the difference between the first 2 numbers, the same difference will apply here approach. And if you have some kind of a some different set of text, if it's there, and you set a group and then drag it, the same text is going to be pasted at the bottom of it. So the dragging for the cells is active. Function keys, there are those function keys, and every software uses these function keys at the top in different ways. So two of them will have to the two of them will be very different. First is the help. So if you don't understand the thing until you find a line, you just press help or press F1, and so we present you with a window where you can type in whatever thing that you need help with, and it will display your steps and information about it. And second is okay. That is same as the double click. Okay. It's all simply working. Right. Okay. How long will be? It's been 15 minutes. No problem. We'll just go ahead. And now let's go to the file commands. So files are the set of all these data that we prepare new sheets. I'm going to say over the files, and these files are a particular name. And for Excel sheets, you have XLS or XLSX of the formats. So XLS is the older format, which was said to be a little more bulky. It used to take a little more space. It was not efficient in a lot of ways. And that's when Microsoft shifted to XLSX format. The last X actually represents XML. So XML format is used for saving this file, which makes the files a little less take less space. They take less space and they are more efficient in our storage and calculations. So that creates some new formats. You don't have to open it with the software. You will require new updated software in order to do these. So you think. So if you want to save the files, what you do is first uh, first slide, whatever data you're typing in, that will temporarily saved to the RAM. And temporarily saved to the RAM. And when you want this data to be permanently saved to your hard disk so that you will be able to access it at a later point, you have to actually save the file. And here we have the file commands. So all these file commands will be located here in the file menu. And you can see we have home, we have new, open, and all these things. Now let's look at some of the basic commands. New file allows you to create a new file. We have a shortcut for that as well. That is Control plus N. So you have to press Control and then press N in order to unlock this. So this will present you with this particular interface where you have a lot of different templates, ready-made templates that are available from Microsoft, which you could use if anything suits your needs. You can also make your own templates, which is while saving, you have to save it with a template. So we go for file and save, that is Control S. You can just save it by going to file and click on save, or you can just use